Here are 16 things that I wish I could tell my younger self while I was still in the midst of the severe psychological abuse I was going through, known as parental alienation. And I hope that my message will reach the right ears. Hi, my name is Maddie and welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project, or welcome if you're new here. What do I talk about on my project? I talk about a severe form of child psychological abuse that I went through for 20 years, starting around the age of 7 or 8. It really involves one parent, one angry parent, turning their child against their other loving parent without justification. This is an angry parent, often during a custody dispute or a divorce, goes on an obsessive rampage to destroy their child's relationship with their other loving parent. I believed everything my mom made me believe, that he was bad, unloving, abusive, selfish. And for the next 20 years, I rejected my dad without true justification, although in my mind, I thought I was standing up to injustice. 2 years ago, I learned the term parental alienation. I've really been able to create a wonderful life for myself, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't learned about the psychological abuse I've been experiencing. And I want to give my 2 disclaimers as always. Number 1, I'm not an expert or a therapist. Number 2, I don't speak for all alienated children. Everybody has their own individual experience. These are 16 things that I wish I knew as an alienated teen. They probably don't apply to every alienated kid, but this is what I would tell my younger self. If I could tell my younger self anything, especially in middle school and high school when I was really struggling, I would tell her, number 1, who you believe is your bad parent, they actually love you. And they've loved you the whole time. If I could sit with myself back then, I would like to ask myself a few questions. Maybe, do you think that a parent would continue to reach out and make an effort and try to express their love for you if they didn't care about you? If they didn't want you to be in their life? Finally, I would ask, hey, just to make sure that you have all the evidence regarding relationships with your parents, it might be helpful to write a list for each parent of all the evidence, not hearsay, not secondhand accounts, but true evidence, things you have heard or you have seen that you remember clearly hearing or seeing, ways that they have hurt you directly and why you have made this decision to cut your parent out of your life. Because it is a really big decision and you want to make sure that you have all the right reasons. Number 2, I would tell my teenage self who's really struggling that you're not everything your good parent has made you believe. You're not the person that they've made you believe you are. Number 3, I would emphasize the importance of critical thinking. This is so important because in order for an alienated child to learn that they've been abused and betrayed and manipulated, they're going to have willingness to put their pride aside and consider other alternatives to their reality. This is extremely difficult to do, very overwhelming, because if you do put your pride aside and consider maybe you've believed lies, maybe you've gotten things wrong, and because of that, you've treated a parent of yours in ways that you would never have treated them if you had known the truth. It's a huge pill to swallow, but the importance of critical thinking and willingness to put your pride aside is the saving grace for people to be able to accept what's happened to them. Number 4, I would tell myself, no one knows you better than you. Other people in your life might claim to know you better than you know yourself, and that's not true. No one knows you better than you. Number 5, I would tell her, don't believe everything you think. This is actually a quote that I read in college. I have always held on to that quote, don't believe everything you think. And I still question myself and my thoughts a lot. I think it's good for everybody to do that because if you get so entrenched in your beliefs and your thoughts, you can become very closed-minded. I would tell her it's good to challenge what you've been told, what you've believed, if for no other reason than to make sure that you've gotten the facts straight. Number 6, I would tell my younger self it's not okay and it's inappropriate for a parent to treat you like a therapist, a confidant, or a best friend. Now, I know my younger self would probably say something to the effect of, I know it's not okay, but I don't care. because she's my mom and I love her anyway. I just know that I would have said something like that. But if your parent is making you responsible for their emotions, you have every right to establish boundaries, because your parent is actually supposed to help you with your emotions. So to be in the spot where you have to help your parent with their emotions is very backwards. And I might also say, well, you can believe that now and try to put up with it now, but just wait till you have kids of your own one day, and you're going to realize that you would never do anything like this to your own child. Number 7, I would tell anybody who's been alienated, you're not broken. You're trying to survive in a fabricated reality, a mental prison that you can't escape. It's not your fault. If you took any child and put them through severe parental alienation, they will have a wide array of destructive effects that play out in their life. They will have attachment issues. They will have identity disturbance. They will have predictable outcomes. Please know that your symptoms that have probably made you feel crazy for years are actually just natural effects of the abuse you've experienced. I promise you're not broken. As broken as you may feel, I promise there is life after alienation. Number 8, when you're with your bad parent, the reason why you feel so confused and on edge, frustrated and anxious is because of something known as cognitive dissonance. Let me explain. I would start by asking myself, do you ever start to laugh at a joke your bad, quote unquote, bad parent makes, or start to smile around them and then you quickly stop laughing, quickly cover up your laugh? This is cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance in this instance represent moments where your beliefs about your quote unquote bad parent don't line up with their actions or the way they're making you feel or the things they're saying. Maybe it makes you really uncomfortable when your bad parent tells you that they love you or makes you feel loved, because the belief that you have or that you might have, for example, is that they don't love you. It doesn't add up. When your beliefs about something or someone don't add up with your real experience, you will have cognitive dissonance. And our minds will do whatever it needs to do to get rid of that uncomfortable cognitive dissonance. So maybe your parent has been making an effort to see you or trying to bring up memories of old good times that you've had together, trying to make you happy, but that doesn't line up with what you've been made to believe about them. And I would challenge anyone who has had a difficult relationship with their parents to question where your beliefs and feelings about that parent have come from. Again, if for no other reason than to make sure that you have not been influenced by someone else. Number 9, if I could go back to my younger self, I think I would just ask her, who is in control of your life? And if you're alienated from a parent, it's probably not you. Number 10, I would tell my younger self, it's okay to love both of your parents. Number 11, I would tell myself, the situation is not your fault. My experience growing up alienated is that I always felt frustrated and angry with my mom. But because I had no idea I was being psychologically abused, I blamed myself for feeling this way. She'd often tell me, what kind of a daughter hates their mother? She could tell I didn't like her. So I blamed myself and I thought I was a terrible daughter because I was angry at my mom and I didn't know why. Because everybody else seemed to think she's a very selfless, good mom. Of course, not knowing what happens behind closed doors. My point is that it was not your fault. It was never your fault. As a child experiencing this severe psychological abuse, you stood no chance. The abuse is not your fault. Was never your fault. You were weaponized. I would tell myself, you've been betrayed by a parent that you've trusted more than anyone. I'm so sorry. I know this is hard and painful, extremely painful to process. Please remember to keep the blame where it belongs. This was not your fault. Number 12, I would love to tell my younger self that you have the right to make your own decisions about your relationships and your life. You don't need to base your decisions on other people and how they'll respond. Number 13, I would say you are not defined by this experience. It is part of your journey. What you do with your experience of being alienated and how you choose to move forward creating a new life for yourself is all up to you. There's no one right way to heal. Number 14. This one is a brutal truth. It's not easy to hear. It's not easy to accept. But I think it's important for anyone who's been alienated, especially severely alienated, to know that this is going to be a lifelong journey. This is not going to be a recovery process where you reach a milestone and you're good to go. No. You will be healing from this for the rest of your life in some way or another. Your feelings are normal. Healing takes time, and that's okay. It's really important to seek help along the way. Try a therapist. If that therapist isn't helping you, find a new therapist. Join our support group. Network. Speak out if that helps you process your pain. You can become involved in legislation. There are lots of things you can do to try to heal. You're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have moments of intense emotion where you might fear that you've backslid in your healing journey. This is all part of the process. If you need to cry it out for 30 minutes, cry it out for 30 minutes. Be kind with yourself, gentle with yourself. Allow your body to experience the wide range of emotions that are going to come after surviving this severe child psychological abuse. Something that helps me is to imagine my emotions as a wave, and there's always a peak, but the wave always comes back down, and some waves last longer than other little waves, but no emotion lasts forever. Number 15, seeking happiness and peace is not selfish. If you're like me, letting yourself feel happy or content might feel a little counterintuitive. For a long time, I felt uncomfortable expressing joy. I felt like I wasn't allowed to express joy or peace. I think an important thing is for people to know that if you're happy, if you find joy and peace in your life, and other people who are in your life are not happy for you, then that is not someone who has your true best interests at heart. Anyone who has your true best interests at heart and who does love you unconditionally and in a healthy manner will be happy for you when you're happy and happy for you when you're at peace. They will support you in your goals, in your endeavors. They won't try to criticize you and bring you down. They will want the best for you. Finally, number 16, this is the most important one, I think, and that is, I would love to sit down with my younger self and just tell her, you've been through hell and it's going to get worse. Buckle up. But I want you to know that after this is all over and you've learned the truth and you're free, you're going to have the power to create a wonderful life for yourself. I mean, wonderful. Something that you could have never imagined. Some of the best advice I've ever received was the following: get a pen, get a notebook, and go into the woods or somewhere else that's really quiet, no other people, no noise, for a full day or even a weekend if you have the time. Sit with that pen and that notebook in silence. So you're by yourself, you're with your notebook and your pen, and there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. You want to think and really consider the life that you want to lead. During this exercise, don't limit yourself. The sky is the limit. Try to connect with your values, with your true self deep down. And you can even do this other exercise where you can imagine you're in your later years, your elder years, and you're sitting around a table at Christmas time. Ask yourself, where are you in the world? Who is at your table? Who's sitting there? What have you done with your life? What have you accomplished? You could also think about your life currently or in the past. When have you felt the most joy? When have you felt the greatest sense of purpose? If what comes to you during this exercise surprises you, don't judge it. Just note that, okay, this was on my mind. It might take a while for the wheels in your brain to start spinning enough to really put that image together. But if you can come up with an image, then that would be great. This is really important because you're also fueling your subconscious mind. You're starting to put into place in your subconscious mind that you are capable of creating a wonderful life for yourself. And I know some people don't believe in this, but I personally believe that there is some truth and some value in visualization. I hope these 16 little bits of information that I would like to tell my younger self has been insightful or helpful for some people out there, specifically other people who are alienated from one of their parents. All of these 16 things are really important, not just to hear, but to really accept. It might even apply to targeted parents too. Either way, please let me know in the comments below what you think. What would you tell your younger self? As always, thank you for watching. If you like this video or support my project, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel grow. And make sure you subscribe and hit the little notification bell so that you're notified every time I post a new video. Thanks, I'll see you soon.